Hello! In the following video, you will be introduced to the concept of the PPP Lesson Plan Format and an example that you can adapt to the context of ESL teaching in rural areas. Do your students get lost and confused every time you try to teach them a new grammatical structure? Well, let me tell you a little secret. The key ingredient is in the lesson plan. One possible solution is to follow the PPP model. This stands for Presentation, Practice, and Production. First comes the presentation of new vocabulary or grammatical instruction, then it's followed by controlled practice to finish with fluent production. The PPP is a method that is widely used in teaching simple language at lower levels. Therefore, it is very helpful in contexts like Chilean schools, where English is a foreign language. Timing is very important. Imagine that PPP is a pyramid divided into 3 carefully planned sections. If your class is 45 minutes long, you could have 10 minutes of presentation, 15 minutes of practice, and 20 minutes of production. The PPP model is divided like this. Part 1. Presentation. Giving your students the information to succeed. Presentation is the first step, and it is the most important. This is your time to shine, but avoid extending it too much. Start connecting the new material to previous lessons, presenting the new language in a meaningful context. For example, you are going to teach your students to describe what they did last weekend using simple past. Use a set of images with many free time activities and show the students a calendar with an arrow pointing to the prior weekend. Have the students guess what you are going to talk about. Then, give them the first example. Last weekend, I went to the river. Then, provide them with examples of positive and negative sentences, then questions and short answers. Then, ask the students questions like, what did you do last weekend? Make sure you check that they have understood the concept. They repeat the models with you. If necessary, show them the equivalent in Spanish so they can see the differences. When you are sure the students understood the grammar basics, you can advance to the next stage. They will need you to monitor them closely. Part 2. Practice. In the practice stage, the focus is on form, so the teacher has to provide controlled practice, and all mistakes are corrected. In this set of activities, students are given a little more control, and they start trying out the new patterns of language. For example, now the students can complete the books exercises, which are perfect to check if they understood. Remember that they are just getting familiarized with the new structure, so expect many mistakes. Another possible activity is to play domino phrases. Cut different sentences into segments, such as last weekend, I ate, and 4 empanadas, so they can use context to guess the right answer. Part 3. Production. In this section, the students are supposed to speak more than the teacher, so keep them on track by slowly moving on to the new stage. First, work with the whole class on mini tasks to use the new material, or divide them in 2 groups, and they can play charades or Pictionary, guessing the activities. It will be fun. Then, you can break them down again into small groups or pairs. They can create an interview where they share what they did last weekend. If they are shy, they can record their voice or a video with their cell phones. Vote for the best interview and award some extra credit. In summary, some key concepts from the PPP lesson plan format are: always know your students well and select topics that will be interesting for them. Focus on the target language necessary to accomplish the tasks, such as vocabulary, grammar, contextualization, etc., with a communicated goal. Always think ahead about possible questions your students may ask you or some material you may need in advance in case internet is not available. Monitor them closely and provide necessary feedback. So, good luck in creating a successful and meaningful lesson plan. Before we go, we have a challenge for you. Try to include PPP in at least one of your lessons next week. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out the next video in this series.